After you've passed your KAPS, you need to apply for your provisional registration. Now, if you're offshore or onshore, anyone can apply. But remember, for those onshore, as soon as you apply for your provisional registration, it's valid for 12 months. And it's expected that within that period, you should have completed your internship. If you haven't, you can apply to extend your registration. Now, for those offshore, you cannot get a provisional registration directly. You get what is called in principle. So what it's saying is that technically, APRA is saying they have given you a provisional registration, but it's not valid until you enter Australia. Now, after you've passed your KAPS, that's where the real work starts, right? You need to get your CV ready, which is very important. You need to get your CV ready. You need to start going for interviews with employers for you to be able to gain internship offer. Now, the struggle is almost the same, both for people who are in Australia and people who are offshore. I find so many interns, overseas trained interns, who have passed their KAPS and they are still looking for a place for internship. It's very common. And the reason is because there is a knowledge gap and there is a difference in how people practice in different countries and how they practice in Australia. So most times when people go for interviews, they're not saying the right thing. They do not know what the Australian employer is looking for. Or even if by chance they get an offer, they struggle in the job because they don't know, they are not familiar with some terms, they're not familiar with some brands, they are not familiar with some drugs. So it's really important that just as you put so much effort in preparing for KAPS, you have to put effort in getting ready for your internship. Now, as soon as you get your internship offer, the next step would be, to start your internship. For those who are not in Australia, you can get an internship offer if you have a valid visa to come to Australia. As soon as you come to Australia, then your in-principle registration will be transferred to a provisional registration. For those who do not have a valid visa, that is the time you start looking for sponsorship. Again, the people who would easily find sponsorship are those people who are prepared for the intern year. So you will have so much interviews with employers, and sometimes you will find out that some would not contact you back. That's because you haven't said the right things. That is because they do not believe that you have what it takes to practice here in Australia. So it's really important that you prepare yourself, ask questions, know a little bit about the Australian industry, know about the terminologies, the lingo is different. If you have practiced maybe in the industry as a rep, it's a bit different if you're going to come to community pharmacy here. So all those things you should be able to prepare yourself before you actually start your internship. Now let's talk about after you've gotten a provisional registration, you've gotten your visa sorted, and you're now in Australia. When you come to Australia, you would have to do an intern, we call it intern year. And usually it takes about 10 to 12 months, depending. Usually it's a full-time job and it's a paid internship. Within this period, you are expected to pass both an oral and a written intern exam. Again, this is very important. Without passing these two exams, you are able to actually proceed to become a fully registered pharmacist. So just looking at the step, first you pass your KAPS, and then you move on to get your provisional registration, and then you look for a place for internship, and you complete your intern year. Within that period, you're meant to pass both your oral and written exam.